Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. I just want to come first of all say happy Thanksgiving. Another thing is we're gonna have some discussion about weight loss. I know everybody gonna have some fun during this vacation, but I love to talk about this topic, and especially when we have Dawn, she's expert in this kind of discussion. Be with us till the end. Please subscribe to Panta Calhoun Transition channel and order my book Needs Gap through Amazon. Simple guide to manage autoimmune disease and chronic pain. Thank you for watching. All right. Hello, Dawn, and welcome to my show. I know you already wrote a book and you're a bestseller author of Body Effect, and you're a nutritional therapist and weight loss coach. And this is the second time we have her here. We are so grateful because we're going to talk about how to master our cravings. All right.
Hi, Pantera. It's really nice to be here and chatting to you again.
Yeah. All right. Tell me about your topic about the weight loss and biochemistry balance.
Okay, so I guess many people out there have tried to lose weight before, and sometimes you may lose a bit of weight, but often most people put that weight back on again, and often a bit more besides. Or some people really struggle to lose weight in the first place because they crave the unhealthy foods, or they find it hard not to overeat. And people can feel really bad about themselves over this, but actually it's not your fault. There's imbalances in most of our bodies that are going on that trigger you to overeat, that trigger your cravings, that trigger you may be giving your body the message to store fat, or the internal messengers in your body may be saying store fat around your belly. So if those things are going on, it's going to be really hard to eat healthily and to lose weight. And people beat themselves up about this and feel really bad about themselves quite often. But actually, when you're resisting those cravings, when you're relying on willpower, you're fighting against your body. So it's always going to be really hard because your body, it's part of your body's survival mechanisms in a lot of cases. So ultimately, you're going to lose. You're setting yourself up for failure.
What does that mean? You say biochemistry balance. Can you describe
Yeah,
this
of
term?
course. Yeah. So there's a number of different things that can happen. So, for example, if your hormones are out of balance, now that could be your insulin levels, it could be your female hormones, it could be the hormones that regulate your appetite control. Or it could be that you're low in certain nutrients, such as the nutrients that regulate the control of fat storage. Or it could be that your gut bacteria are out of balance. And many people know that your gut bacteria play a lot of roles in your body, that they're involved in digestion, that they're involved in immunity, but they're also involved in your weight. So if you have a gut bacterial imbalance, it can make you want to overeat. It can make you extract more calories from food. So it's not really as simple as just eating less calories and doing more exercise. I mean, obviously, if you consume more calories than you need, you will gain weight, but that's only part of the picture. So when you bring your hormones back into balance, when you get the nutrients you need, when you bring your gut bacteria into balance, when you do all these things, then you set up the conditions in your body to lose weight and to keep that weight off. So you're no longer fighting against your body.
So, how can we investigate these imbalances? How do we know which part of our body is involved?
Well, actually, I cover that in the first part of my book. So each chapter in my book, in the first part, there's each chapter covers one imbalance, and there's 11 chapters in that part of the book. And so there's an explanation of how that imbalance affects your body, how it affects your weight. And then there's a questionnaire that you can do to see if you have that imbalance in your body. So, I mean, you can do biochemical tests and things, but actually a questionnaire gives you a very good guideline as to what's going on in your body.
Do you suggest any functional lab or any other tools?
I can do, but I find for many people, it's very simple just to follow these questionnaires. And then what I do is I take people, so at the end of part 1 of the book, you know exactly what imbalances in your body are triggering your cravings, which imbalances are making you store fat around your belly, which imbalances are making you overeat. So in part 2 of the book, you go through a step-by-step process where you tailor each step to the imbalances in your body and to your dietary preferences. So it helps you find a way of eating that works for you, that sets up the conditions in your body to lose weight and keep it off. But for many people, it's taken some time for their body to become out of balance. So it takes a while for the cravings to go. So it's really helpful in the meantime to have a strategy for when the cravings hit. So if anybody here has had cravings before, you know, it's all very well saying, well, don't eat or eat something healthy. I mean, that's just not going to happen because your body is saying, I want that cake, I want those cookies, I want those crisps, whatever it is that you want. And when you feel like that, you're not going to go and eat an apple. You're not going to go and have those carrot sticks. You're not going to eat, you know, something really healthy. So, I mean, one of my clients, and different things are going to work for different people. And one of my clients, for example, she had really bad sugar cravings premenstrually. But the problem with her was that she found that when she ate the sugar, it was very hard for her to eat just a small amount. So, and not having chocolate wasn't going to work for her at that time of the month. So what she found really helpful was she got the darkest chocolate she could find, so it contained very little sugar, and she melted it onto some nuts. And the nuts provided some protein, which helped stabilize her body and stabilize her blood sugar. And she found that she was able to eat that in small amounts, in small quantities over those few days. And for her, that was a really helpful thing. But for different people, it could be different things. And actually, I run a free Master Your Cravings workshop, and I've got one coming up on Tuesday next week. So if anybody wants to come along and create your own strategy for when the cravings hit, to stop you reaching for foods that keep you locked into that craving cycle, then, well, you're very welcome to join me.
So what do you do when, let's say, you have craving for cake or cookies?
Me personally?
Yes, yes.
Actually, do you know what? I used to have really, really bad cravings. I was actually bulimic for a couple of years. And so, you know, my cravings were pretty extreme. But because my body is now in balance, I don't have cravings anymore. And, you know, it really is possible to get rid of cravings. So, I mean, I haven't had any cravings for over 25 years now.
So craving is a sign of imbalances in your body. So let's say if your body crave for sugar, what does that mean?
Well, it could be different things for different people. And actually, if you want to know what triggers cravings, I have a free blueprint available. And I think you have the link in the show notes, I can see there. And if you go and download that, that will tell you which imbalances trigger cravings, which imbalances trigger belly fat, for example. So that's a really simple way of understanding that it's, you know, what can trigger cravings for you.
So the freebie is there, is go.dawn cuckow.com blueprint, right?
Yes, yeah. So that's a free PDF. It won't take you very long to read it, and that will show you how different what each imbalance does that can block your weight loss.
Exactly.
And people find this really helpful because one of my clients said to me that discovering her body was triggering her cravings had taken away the shame of her overeating. And I think that's so important because so many of us do feel bad when we overeat.
Some people, when they get angry, they want to eat cookies. When they are stressed, they want to eat cookies. How can you explain this?
Yeah, okay, so one of the things we do on the workshop actually is we look at responding to your real need. So it can be really helpful to just pause for a moment and think, what do I really need? So if you're angry, your body's designed to have a physical response to anger. So do something physical. I mean, put on loud music and dance, bash up some cushions, go for a run or a walk. It doesn't really matter what you do, but do something physical. If you're feeling stressed or worried, you know, make yourself a herbal tea and write down a list of your worries. They found that actually naming the emotion can reduce the strength of the emotion associated with it.
That's
So,
interesting.
yeah, so it's about responding to what's really going on for you. And in fact, if you're craving food for emotional reasons, there is also a biochemical component. The emotion doesn't happen in isolation. So, for example, many people crave sugar when they're feeling depressed or feeling low. So there may be an emotional trigger for it, but at the same time, it may be because your levels of the serotonin, the feel-good chemical, have dropped. Now, your body makes serotonin from a protein called tryptophan. But so why don't you crave protein? Why don't you crave tryptophan? Well, they found that to get the tryptophan into your brain, where it's converted into serotonin, you need insulin. And to raise your insulin levels, your body gets you to eat sugar or something sweet, because that carries the tryptophan into your brain, which boosts your serotonin. So craving carbs or sugar can be your body's way of raising your serotonin levels to make yourself feel better.
Does it apply to smoking as well?
So does
Like some people uh, have craving for a smoking. So even if they quit, it's very difficult to stay that way. So they start smoking again. How can you explain this?
do you know what? I've not really worked with people trying to give up smoking, but I think that whole idea of actually stopping and thinking what you really need is a good idea, because sometimes I imagine people are smoking because of the biochemical thing in their body, that addiction kind of reaction. And sometimes I imagine it's a habit, or it's because they're feeling emotional in some way.
Because even sugar brings addiction, coffee as well. Because I remember I used to drink a lot of coffee, like two per day. And then, the smell of coffee every morning just made me crazy. And then I started quitting coffee. And right now, my stomach gets hurt if I have one. So that's why I just don't go there anymore. But I guess in a lot of things for these cravings, quitting one habit and replacing another one, I try to visualize what's gonna happen to me after. Let's say if I don't eat any cookies or any cake or anything, because when you don't eat it for a long time, when you have it for the first time after a long time, then you feel your stomach get hurts, and then you feel that sugar in your body, right?
You
And you
really,
don't enjoy it that time.
if your body's not used to it, then eating sugar again, it can be quite a strange feeling, and you can almost get like a sugar hangover from it if you haven't eaten sugar for a while.
Yes, that's the same with any other habits. Like maybe some people love salty foods, or maybe some people love to smoke. That's the same thing. So, do you also have mm, some other exercises apart from um, your workshop to tell them how to stop craving?
Oh, well, it's actually in my book as well. So if you like to read, then there's a lot about what you can do to help your sugar cravings in there. Or if you prefer to actually work with somebody and create your own strategy, then come along to one of my workshops. As I said, they're free, and you get the chance to ask questions and bounce ideas off people. And we follow a kind of a tried and tested strategy that you really adapt to your own needs. But there's also certain foods, for example, that can help to reduce sugar cravings. So, for example, dairy products contain lactose, which is a milk sugar. So even though they don't taste sweet, for some people, they can help reduce their sugar cravings. And one of my clients, she found for her cottage cheese with carrot sticks really worked enough to take the edge off those sugar cravings, so she didn't reach for the sugary foods. So again, that may work for some people, but not for others, because we're all very different. But all these things are useful to try and see what works for you.
So that's what I'm saying. Like the diet should be customized for everyone. That's what we do as well. I'm a nutritionist, a functional nutritionist, and before everything, We do some testing like functional lab, and also some assessment to see where they are and what we can do for that person, and customize their like diet. The problem is some people should eat more protein, some people should eat more vegetables, so you have to find, based on the body constitution, blood type, and other factors together, what is your customized diet, what you have to avoid for your own body. So that's why I don't believe in general diet, like saying for everyone, like eat tomato because it's good, full of vitamin. No, maybe some people have reaction to tomato, as I have. Like if I eat too much tomato, my body inflame. So I try not to eat too much tomato or mango. For me, is a yellow sign, right? So everybody should know, and there are some tests, as you know, like food sensitivity. So everybody should know which zone they are. Like if there are some foods in red zone, they should totally avoid it. If they are in yellow zone, they should be careful. Or if they are in green zone, it's easy to use or consume, is safe, right?
But I mean, it's a very simple level. We know that everyone is different because some people are meat eaters and they find it very hard to give up meat and they don't want to, and other people are vegan. And
Exactly.
everyone, and some people are intolerant to certain foods. Like tomatoes, for most people, are a healthy food, but for you, if you're intolerant to them, you should be avoiding them. So there is, I mean, there's no one diet that fits everybody, and our tastes are all different. Like we like different foods.
Exactly.
But having said that, there are certain foods that I think are not very good for anybody, like highly processed foods. They
Mhm.
don't have any benefits for you. They're not
Exactly.
good to have. Or sugar. Sugar has many. You talked about how it has many different things, many different effects on your body, and it actually doesn't have any good effects on your body. That's not to say if you want to eat it, you can't eat it, but just be aware that it's not so good for you. And so when you do eat it, have smaller amounts and make sure you really enjoy what you're going to have. Don't make the food a really bad food.
Yeah, exactly. Some
Because
people. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, because when you do that, then it sets up this thing that you can't have that food, and that can actually make you feel deprived when you're not having it, and that can then trigger you to overeat it. And we have these whole mindsets about dieting and about weight loss. And I find it's generally not very helpful to focus on that. It's so much more helpful to focus on health. And for me, I help people bring their bodies into balance. So I say, well, focus on bringing your body into balance and take the focus off weight loss, because that whole mindset around dieting can set you up to blow your diet. And then once you've blown your diet, then you carry on overeating or carry on eating junk food or whatever it is that you're doing.
Exactly. I like that idea because what I did for myself with the functional testing, first I realized what's happening to my body. As soon as I balanced my body, I didn't try to lose weight. My aim was not losing weight. But then I lost a few pounds during that diet and controlling and balancing my body. Because when your body is in balance, then good things happening. But when you force your body to lose weight, that weight is going to come back to you again, because you starve yourself um, for a short period of time, and then after some time you want to get back to your habits.
Well,
Maybe
absolutely.
even worse, well,
Yeah,
worse to gain more weight.
because we tend to see diets as a short-term fix. So you're either on a diet or you're not on a diet. But when you focus on bringing your body into balance and healthy eating, then this is not a quick fix. You don't suddenly lose. You're not going to lose 10 pounds in 10 days. But I've been working with someone recently who summed it up really well. Because she didn't lose any weight at all for the first month. But she said, I was motivated to keep going because I had more energy. I was feeling less reactive and calmer. I had less inflammation after exercise, less pain, just feeling generally better. And now she's losing weight and she says, but it doesn't feel like I'm doing anything because I'm not dieting. And all the things I've changed have now become habits, because what we do is we work on doing one change at a time, so it's sustainable. So then you feel like you're not doing anything, you're just eating and you're happy, you're feeling good, and the weight is going.
So, do you have other recommendation for people who are desperately and trying to lose weight?
Well, I would say, as we said, it really depends on where you are. But as a general thing, I would say pick one healthy change to do and stick with that until it becomes a habit, and then look at introducing another change. So it could be you start with breakfast and having a healthy breakfast every day. So you're including some fruit or vegetables, some protein. If you're having carbs with it, you're including whole grains like oats, or if you eat bread, wholemeal bread. Because that can actually, having a really good breakfast actually can set you up to eat healthy for the rest of the day. And it can even reduce cravings in the evening. So if you're intermittent fasting and that's working for you, that's fine. Have the first meal of the day to be healthy. But if you're intermittent fasting and you find that it's really difficult and you're craving food later on, then try having a breakfast like we just talked about.
Yeah, I love breakfast. I can't remove this from my lifestyle.
Me neither. I eat breakfast. I
Yeah,
love my
yeah.
breakfast.
I don't eat dinner, but breakfast for me is the main thing. So you are the author, the best-selling author of Body Effect. They can go and check it in Amazon, right?
That's right.
Okay. And um, another update. You have a workshop. It's a free workshop. It's called Master Your Cravings. Is in go.dawncuckow.com /workshop, and you also have a freebie called Your Uniquely you what is it? You
Your
weight
uniquely
loss.
you your uniquely
Uh,
you weight loss blueprint. So
uh-huh.
that talks about how the different imbalances in your body, how what each imbalance does that blocks your weight loss. So whether it triggers craving,
So okay.
etc.
So if you listen to this show, you can go and get this freebie and enjoy this blueprint and see this assessment on your body and find a customized way for your own diet. Do you want to add something, anything to this?
What I'd like to say is, when it comes to cravings, and I've been there myself, people feel really bad about it. And I used to think I was always going to have to live with cravings and just find a way to manage it. You may need to find a way to manage them in the short term, but it absolutely is possible to get rid of cravings. You don't need to live with them.
Exactly. We don't need to live with them. So start with a strategy. Try to find your customized way of dieting and don't trust general dieting.
And
As you know,
listen to your
yeah,
body. Listen to your
yeah,
body. If
listen
you're
to
not
your
feeling
own
good
body.
with something, then yeah.
And to summarize, I love the way you talk about controlling anger and all the physical activities you can do with the anger and emotional response to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here. Hopefully, we can have you more and more and see more books from you.
Thank
Thank
you, Pantera. It's lovely as always to chat to you.
Yeah, thanks.